Good afternoon, everybody. I'm delighted to welcome you to this IIEA event, EU Enlargement and the Western Balkans. And this event is part of the Institute's Future-Proofing Europe project, which is kindly supported by the Department of Foreign Affairs. And we're delighted to be joined today by Dr. Gordan Grlić Radman, Minister of Foreign and of European Affairs of Croatia, who has been very generous in taking time out to speak to us today. And Minister Grlić Radman will speak to us for approximately 20 minutes or so, and then we will go to question and answers with the audience. And for those joining online, you will be able to join the discussion using the Q&A function on Zoom, which will be on your screens. And please feel free to send your questions in throughout the presentation as they occur to you, and we will come to them once the Minister has finished his presentation. Just a reminder that today's presentation and the Q&A are both on the record. And please also feel free to join the discussion on Twitter using the handle at IIEA. I think we're all very conscious of the tectonic changes in the European security environment that have opened the way for rethinking of the EU enlargement project. The Western Balkan countries are immediate neighbours to the EU, and in this context, of course, their stability is of strategic importance. As their closest EU partner, Croatia strongly advocates for the European path of the Western Balkan countries and is committed to finding solutions to challenges in the accession processes, as they have shown. In this address, the Minister will tackle some of the focal challenges and questions on EU enlargement, as well as opportunities and possible ways forward. Now, let me formally introduce Minister. He is Minister of Foreign and European Affairs for the Republic of Croatia, a post he's held since July 2009. And to mention, additionally, Minister Radman is also President of the Danube Commission, which facilitates navigation and also cooperation between the Danube partner countries. Prior to his current position, he was Ambassador of the Republic of Croatia to Germany from 2017 to 2019, and to Hungary from 2012 to 2017. He has also held a number of high-level roles within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, including head of the Central European Department and also Secretary General. And Minister Radman holds a PhD from the Faculty of Political Science at the University of Zagreb. And Minister, I was interested that the title of your dissertation in 2007 was Neutrality in the New European Security Architecture, which has possibly changed since then for Croatia, but is probably still relevant here in Ireland. But with that introduction, Minister, the floor is yours, and we welcome you very much to the IIEA.
Thank you so much, and Madam Ambassador. Thank you so much, and Mr. White, the Director of the Institute of International and European Affairs. Thank you for this invitation, and first of all, thank you for the kind reception and hospitality I had, and small talks we had already. It's my third day, and in Ireland, I arrived just on Sunday in the afternoon, and everyone said to me that so I brought a son. Okay, if this is so I am so happy that so I brought son. I started my official visit with the attendance at the Holy Mass and with Croatians in St. Mary's Church, and we have here a chaplain, a father, and there were almost 300 people in the church, almost the younger people, and you know, this being a member of European Union is advantage and disadvantage, and however advantage, but free movement is something that we need and we have to, it's a challenge, however, but we are not more foreigners in the European Union. We are at home. It's our family. It's really a pleasure to be with you here. And on the end of my official visit yesterday, I started my visit with a meeting with my counterpart, Foreign Minister Simon Harris, and also with a very nice person, Mr. President, today with parliamentarians, and now so the Zucker kommt zuletzt, so in the German, and with you together before uh, we are in the afternoon, so we will be on the way to home, to Croatia. Yes, Madam Ambassador, you mentioned also the title Enlargement and EU Enlargement and Western Balkans. Western Balkans is really in immediate neighborhood of Croatia. It's next to us. But so enlargement, it will be presented, of course, of Croatian from Croatian perspective. Croatia is a Central and European and Mediterranean country bordering with the Western Balkans. We have developed our identity and culture as a part of Western Christianity, participating in the main political, cultural, and economic trends typical for Central and Western Europe. The specific multi-religious and multinational character of the Western Balkans is a result of a long period of Ottoman influence. However, it remains an enrichment, but also a challenge for internal cohesion in this European region. Against this background, Croatia served as a crossroads between East and West, giving its specific geopolitical position. So crossroad Mediterranean, Middle European country. I'm very happy because of our geopolitical position. When it comes to the Adriatic Sea, everyone says, okay, it's Adriatic Sea. But the Adriatic Sea, it's not only Croatian Sea, it's European Sea. And for those countries who are coming as a tourist, Croatia became also their car destination. Once we are in the Schengen, we enter the Schengen zone. We removed all the obstacles that existed before. And it is value. I will come on that later on. So, and as a crossroads between the East and West, putting Croats into the position to learn how to preserve their Western culture and predominantly Catholic faith. Having all this in mind, it becomes evident why the EU enlargement process in general and EU enlargement towards the Western Balkans in particular is one of Croatia's foreign policy priorities. With this unique knowledge and historical experience, Croatia is contributing not only to the preparation of the enlargement process in Brussels, but also to its implementation in the Western Balkans. As I mentioned, the Western Balkans countries are Croatia's immediate neighbors. With them, we shared also the common history, more than 70 years, besides Albania, but also to its implementation in the Western Balkans. The Western Balkans country are Croatia's, as I mentioned, as such, their stability and development are of great significance to us. Therefore, Croatia is continuously providing support to the enlargement process of the Western Balkans, or the Western Balkans countries. It's in our national interest, and we are vocal proponent of their enlargement. as Croatia, and may I say also Slovenia. We were the most developed republics also in former Yugoslavia, and it is also not by accident that so we also became the members of EU, but also the members of NATO. Because we believe that the European path is the only path for peace, security, democratization, the rule of law, and economic prosperity. I just want to elaborate in more detail. Current tectonic changes in Europe's security environment have opened the way for rethinking the speed of the enlargement process. Russia's aggression against Ukraine expedited the decision of the EU enlargement. And today, the enlargement horizon for the Western Balkans is clear in the new geopolitical circumstances. It is widely understood that more than 20 years after the 2003 Thessaloniki summit, which confirmed the European perspective of the Western Balkans, it is time to move forward. Countries of the region should seize this positive momentum to use this situation, and it is an impetus and for further internal reforms. For the enlargement processes, two principles are key. Two principles. Criteria have to be fulfilled, like Croatia did. There are no shortcuts to the EU membership. And countries have to be assessed according to their own merit-based approach, individual achievements, like Croatia did. Croatia, as the youngest member of the EU, was imposed with additional criteria, benchmarks. However, we did a hard work, but it did pay off. When it comes to the reforms of society, of institutions, now Croatia has a stable, social stable, economically growing, and when it comes to our stability, our also reputation, Croatia can be really considered as a success story. The others said, not me. Croatia joined the EU in 2013, 1st July 2013, almost 12 years. And I strongly believe that we are a testament to the fact that enlargement is beneficial for both sides, for the candidate countries and for the EU and its member states. In 2013, I was in Budapest, and we celebrated that together with Hungarians, and with a beautiful concert we had on the Danube. So the ambassador is here, and probably he knows it, on 26th of June, 2013. The slogan was Horvátország üdvözli, Magyarország üdvözli, Horvátország köszöni. Ugye? That means that actually with this slogan, Hungarians greet Croatian accession, and we express our gratitude. That means that during the Hungarian EU presidency in the first half of 2011, we actually, thanks to the Hungarians, we finished our negotiation with the EU. Our accession process was a proof of the transformative power of the EU enlargement. At the end of the accession negotiation, Croatia was different than when it submitted its membership application. When I say different, I mean now better. This is And that is why Croatia always underlines criteria have to be fulfilled, reforms have to be implemented, and that there cannot be shortcuts to membership. Lowering of the bar would not bring transformation, which is the biggest asset of the process, and would undoubtedly negatively affect the acceptance of any new member states by EU citizens in current member states. The European project remains incomplete without the inclusion, however, of the Western Balkans, as well as of countries of the Eastern Europe, in our common area of peace and prosperity. Enlargement to the area of Western Balkans should be a priority for us, the EU, for two reasons. Firstly, fulfilling our promises. Enlargement is our unfinished business, our promise to be delivered. The EU has to honor its political commitments. This is important for our credibility. Secondly, harnessing transformative power experience teaches us that when enlargement is not the EU's top priority, when the EU and the EU member states are not interested in the process, the transformative power of the process does not work. To put it simply, the process loses its ability to motivate the countries for the necessary reforms. On the other hand, realistic prospects of accession combined with EU support energize reform and build momentum. However, we should not be lenient to the countries when it comes to fulfilling the criteria. We won't, but so for the other side, the countries of the Western Balkans should show concretely that so they are interested in the reforms. The state of play in the Western Balkans. Supporting Western Balkan countries in the process of their European integration is a strategic goal and a fundamental contribution to preserving peace and stability in the region. There are concerns with the recent political developments in Bosnia and Herzegovina, as we observe some serious challenges to the constitutional order of the country and a risk of escalation into a security crisis. Croatia firmly advocates for de-escalation and restoration of dialogue. We are against any initiatives that would jeopardize the constitutional order of Bosnia and Herzegovina, based on the Dayton-Paris Peace Agreement, which we are going to mark this year, 30th anniversary. We should not lose sight of the long-term stability of Bosnia and Herzegovina that can only be based on the principle of equality and cooperation among three constituent peoples and others. Three constituent peoples are Bosniak Muslim, Serbs, and Croats. Therefore, an electoral reform, especially addressing the issue of the election of legitimate members of the state presidency, is one of the key priorities for the country. Regarding Serbia, we are following very closely the current turbulent political situation. We also expect Serbia to solve a number of issues that are of special importance for Croatia, such as cooperation with regard to missing persons, war crime prosecution, compensation to victims of war and victims of war camps, issues of succession of the former state of Yugoslavia, and other important issues that are overdue, and full alignment with the European Common Foreign and Security Policy. Croatia continues to encourage Montenegro to stay focused on EU-related reforms and committed to good neighborly relations. In our dialogue with them, we consistently point out the need to solve outstanding issues, and we hope to see concrete results soon. We welcome the continued political commitment of Albania authorities towards the strategic goal of integration into the European Union, and we hope that also North Macedonia will catch up with the dynamics of the negotiation in the near future. We expect an additional step forward and stronger engagement from both Kosovo and Serbia in the process of dialogue. Croatia will continue to promote Kosovo's further affirmation regarding its membership in international organization, first of all with the Council of Europe. Reforms and adjustments. As the EU prepares for further enlargement, it must also focus on internal reforms. We believe these processes should proceed simultaneously. The reform efforts should concentrate on 4 key areas. First of all, values, policies, budget, and governance. The European Commission's upcoming comprehensive analysis of these areas will mark the beginning of our substantive discussion in the Council. It is essential to uphold our values and the rule of law throughout the enlargement process, as this will strengthen both the EU and the candidate countries and contribute to a more stable, secure, and democratic Europe. Of course, discussion on cohesion policy and the common agriculture policy are particularly important and challenging, as we need to carefully assess and balance the impact of enlargement, ensuring that current EU members are not put at a disadvantage. Discussion on the next multi-annual financial framework. It's very important. It should also reflect the momentum of enlargement, primarily by enhancing the pre-accession instrument to be more effective and performance-based. Likewise, there are some suggestions for a reorganization of decision-making schemes. It is our strong belief that we need to maintain the unanimity voting system in foreign and security policy and in taxation. We are a small country. Current system protects the equality. Namely, this current system protects the equality of the member states, and it prevents the discrimination or marginalization of smaller member states. It avoids the outvoting in the matters of particular importance, and therefore it also avoids divisions which could potentially weaken the Union. At the same time, the use of qualified majority voting system does not guarantee that decisions will be taken faster or more easily. Therefore, fostering a common strategic and culture dialogue remains key in building our unity and resilience. We have a discussion probably at the very beginning in the councils, but on the end of the day, we come to a common conclusion. It's something that creates a responsibility in the European Union, that we have to act unanimously and with one voice. So to cherish the culture and not to be obsessed with in the written form of the making decision. Let me conclude. EU enlargement and the Western Balkans is central for the future of Europe. Therefore, we must work together to bridge divides, accelerate integration, and ensure that this region becomes a pillar of security, stability, and prosperity. A prosperous, democratic, and secure Western Balkans is not just in the interest of the region. It is in the interest of Europe as a whole. As for Croatia, we will continue to strongly support enlargement, since we firmly believe, from our own experience, that the European path is the right one. In parallel, we must not forget that the core principle of enlargement policy is to transform and prepare countries for EU membership. This transformative process must ensure consolidation of democracy and the rule of law in the candidate countries. We must not forget that the EU membership is a choice. All candidate countries are expected to demonstrate this strategic choice and show political will and commitment to the process. Bearing all this in mind, we should perceive and support the enlargement policy for what it has been: an overall success story, spreading the area of political stability and security, as well economic prosperity across the continent. I think so 20 minutes I was in 20 minutes and not cross the red lines. Yeah, not because of you. It was 20 minutes. Yeah, 22 minutes. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
This bridge that we had in the Institute. I think if you're more comfortable sitting down to take questions, which you have kindly from your point of view is extremely important. May I ask for questions from the floor, and we also will have questions online if anybody has a question to put at the moment. While we are waiting, Minister, may I put one from our point of view at the chair? Clearly, the European Union is very interested in enlargement. The geopolitical situation has made that very clear. But do you feel they're putting enough energy into enlargement for the Balkan countries? Are they distracted by the war in Ukraine and by the necessity to implement economic changes? Do you see that there is more that European existing members could do to bring along the Balkan member states? Could they put more personnel in to help the administration, to help with the changes necessary?
Actually, it's in so the process which needs not only the readiness of European Union, but also the candidate countries. The candidate countries should show more readiness, more initiatives, and to show more interest in doing the reforms in respective countries. So as I mentioned, we know we experienced, we have expertise. We know these countries because we shared common history, and we are ready, similar to Slovenians as well, so to share through our Center of Excellence, to share our experience with those countries, and of course to invest, of course, our energy, and not only Croatia or Slovenia or Hungary or all the others. You know, this is Western Balkans are surrounded by the EU members, surrounded by the NATO members, and it's a backyard of the European Union. Had it not been the aggression against Ukraine or with other wars, this situation there accelerated a little bit on European Union to be more present in the Western Balkans. But we didn't know that such a scenario could happen, of course, in Ukraine. There are so many hotspots right now. And then also the new institutional cycle in the European Union. So although we are a composition of 27 countries and we issued a strategic compass, we could not prevent such a scenario who are coming to threat also our stability in the European Union. Probably we were in the European Union, we were more focused on ourselves, although we opened a lot of chapters. For example, we opened a chapter to be more present in our strategic south. It's Mediterranean countries, North Africa, not only in North Africa, in Africa as a whole. There are also the hotspots and critical situation, Sudan, Sahel, and so on. We have to be more present also in Indo-Pacific together in Indo-Pacific area. They are also our partners who share our values. But we are negatively surprised actually with this aggression against Ukraine. But no one, after the split of bipolar system, after the breakaway of bipolar system at the very beginning and of 90s, end of the Cold War. So we expected that every country will respect international law. It's new era, and that the common values will be actually indicators how we can behave to the democracy, to the international community. We are obliged to respect, of course, international law. It's only possible to have a lasting peace and to have a world order as a whole. And of course, it's for European Union, of course, challenge and when it comes to Western Balkans. However, we want to see really readiness in the Western Balkans countries. I mentioned Bosnia and Herzegovina. You followed also the situation with also Mr. Dodik, and you followed the protests also in Serbia with students, and probably Montenegro could be a champion, and once Croatia also enormously helped to Montenegro. Firstly, and when it comes to NATO membership in 2017, and during the Croatian EU presidency in the first half 2020, we opened the last chapter, namely 8th chapter, competitiveness. We also helped to close out of 4 chapters to close 3 chapters, and just to show that Croatia can really assess and positively evaluate and their endeavor, what they are making in favor to be once a member of the European Union. Stability of the Western Balkans, and once we enter the Schengen zone, we are protecting not only national border but also the border of the European Union. Quite a big responsibility on our shoulder, on our side.
It's quite a task. I think you answered one of the questions I had on are there specific lessons that other countries in the Balkans can learn from Croatia's accession process? But I think you gave us a good answer of what they could learn. Do I have anybody? Yes, Barry.
Thank you so much, Minister, for being with us. My name is Barry Cole from the Director of Research here. I have a question about EU institutional reform. Can you comment on what needs to happen in terms of the EU's institutions in advance of any enlargement to the Western Balkans? And equally, do you think the current treaty has what it takes to oversee further enlargement, or do we have to face up to the inevitable treaty change? Thanks.
with the institution as I understood you correctly.
Yes. Change any of the mechanisms that are working in advance of enlargement.
Yeah, I mentioned it but so firstly in 2019, according to the French initiative, so that they changed this methodology. Could be actually nothing happened bad, for example, for that new methodology is something that could create a different approach. So merit-based approach was visible there, but positively you can speed up process if you are if you have such as many chapters in one cluster. If the country is ready if the country reformed its society in such fields and chapters. Probably some countries were negatively surprised, however, but so the Montenegro also is a good example that they closed three chapters, and they can also close even more. They can be really in the champions in the Albania as well, and of course North Macedonia. And we would like also, of course, to assist and to help. No, regarding the institutions and the changes, I think the voting, for example, there are some countries who are in favor of their to introduce the qualified majority, and but I mentioned it that we can discuss it all the day if we disagree on the question. But so I do remember when I am the Foreign Ministry Affairs, I can say that on the end we come to the common conclusion, because we have to be aware of the solidarity of our values, and to come on a common ground when it comes to the more important issues of existence of European Union. Otherwise, we will divide our European Union in such countries, in the blocks. I think it's a good message to the European solidarity and unity. Unity is something that it's values, unity. And so Croatia is a small country, however, but we never opposed something that we saw it is in the interest of the common society. Probably it was not at the moment interest of the Croatia, not of the national interest, but in the interest of the community. Okay, we were in favor to join some initiatives. It is always so. But if we are democratic countries, if you stick to rule of law, human rights, and everything what is naturally in connection with our democracies, I think so there are not necessity to change this voting system. So there are so many examples, there. For example, mathematically, 55% among 65. So there are so many methods how you can get a final decision, and not necessarily to introduce this majority. Yeah, exactly. MQA.
Thank you, Minister. Is there anybody who have a lot of questions online, Minister? One from Jill Donoghue, who's our Deputy Director. How important are sub-regional ties, such as the trilateral format of the foreign ministers of Slovenia, Croatia, and Austria, in advancing the importance of enlargement to the Western Balkans on the Brussels agenda?
I have a very good experience in this regard. And so when I became a foreign minister in 2019, so I just renewed this initiative already existing, but not regularly used. But not only with, so we had an trilateral meetings and cooperation with there's in Croatia, besides Croatia, Italy and Slovenia, and also the Croatia, Slovenia and Austria. And so when it comes to Slovenia, Italy and Croatia, there are some specific fields of common interest. The blue economy, so protecting the environment and how to improve connectivity. So there are three main pillars of our cooperation. And of course, in general, there are also energy diversification everywhere. We haven't had predicted that Russian aggression. However, we had something, we knew that it is important to diversify energy. We are together with Poland, we are co-founder of 3Cs initiatives. And they are three pillars, the main pillars of cooperation. Could you imagine 10 years ago, we predicted that energy diversification will be the most important issue, digitalization, and how to improve interconnectivity and traffic connectivity, first of all. And there are 12 countries, 12 Eastern, Middle and European countries. And now together with Greece, there is quite a big interest being in this group. It is not politically and based an approach. When I was ambassador to Berlin, I was asked, "Oh, Mr. Ambassador, is really something politically?" And so, no, it's just economically, and because we wanted with our improving those chapters to be quite close to the West European countries. It's also, to some extent, cohesion policy. And so Austria is the same. And I know that so next month, so we are going to organize in Slovenia a next trilateral meeting. But I would like also to mention trilateral meeting between the Bosnia and Herzegovina, Turkey and Croatia as well. So we had on the margin of the Dubrovnik Forum last year. It's a common interest in the Bosnia and Herzegovina, our immediate neighbor, and we will have a trilateral meeting again in Antalya during the Antalya Forum next month. There's responsibilities of Turkey and Croatia. We had with Bosnia and Herzegovina only country, neighboring country, who had a G2G meeting on 20th of June 2023 with Bosnia and Herzegovina. That means so how we show how is important European perspective of Bosnia and Herzegovina, how is important the stability of Bosnia and Herzegovina, institutional functionality of Bosnia and Herzegovina. And we invested a lot economically, financially, not only to the Croats, and there are projects in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but to all the three constituent peoples and of course all the citizens. So not to mention that how is important that stability for us of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Thank you, Minister. Actually, Valerie Hughes has a question. What is Croatia doing to resist destabilization of Bosnia and Herzegovina? For example, the Republic of Srpska leader Dodik's recent assault on Bosnia and Herzegovina's constitutional order and to support Dodik arrest. But you mentioned that you are working with Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I mentioned it, we have to, just to reduce, we appeal to reduce tensions and to appeal the political leaders in Bosnia and Herzegovina to take on responsibility for the country, and everyone in Bosnia and Herzegovina should respect the constitution and political order. So no one is allowed to break it. And it is in the interest of Croatia. It is in the interest of the citizens of Bosnia and Herzegovina to have a stable Bosnia and Herzegovina. We don't want just to have the same scenario we had it in the very beginning of 90s. Mm-hmm. It was tragic. And now we have to invest all the necessary and politically, diplomatically, and to be engaged with our allies, with our partners in Bosnia and Herzegovina to prevent any kind of inflammatory and rhetoric or sparks who could just create a new instability or even war. I cannot imagine that, so that could happen there. Just in the eve of the marking of the 30th anniversary of the Dayton-Paris Agreement. So we have to have on our agenda in November or in May in Dayton. Now I'm also invited from the former mayor, who is also now the senator, congressman, actually, and who is going to organize the conference regarding the Dayton signing the Dayton Agreement, and we have to mark this and this Dayton-Paris Agreement, this anniversary, and not to, we want to see some outcome, some results, and not to see that, so that Dayton-Paris Agreement wasn't a failure. On the contrary, so that we have to be really engaged with our partners there in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The citizens of Bosnia and Herzegovina, they deserved a peace and stability there. And of course, there are opportunities to have a peace and stable Bosnia and Herzegovina. I recently visited Bosnia and Herzegovina, a birthplace of my father, where he was. It's a multinational. And so I see that the people, they want to have to live in peace. Yeah. So it's our responsibility to be more active there, to be more engaged. And when it comes institution of European institutions, so we have to be there. We have to prevent any kind of the such activities, negative activities or tendency, neither separatism nor unitarianism or hegemonism. So, as I mentioned, so in my introductory speech, equality of the three constituent peoples. So the people should be the Croats, who are the least numerous, they have their right to exist. That means every identity should be respected, and everyone is happy if there is a mutual respect. So that it's everywhere. So in Ireland, in Croatia, in Germany. So it is something that we were born to live alone or to live together. But to live together is something to be learned, and otherwise, then it's a chaotic situation.
Yeah, there is no other. Minister, I have a number of questions on Serbia, where what are Croatia's thoughts and policies on possible EU membership for Serbia? As it seems, Serbian membership of the EU would serve to stabilize the Balkans long term. Obviously, one of the difficulties is the Serbian situation at the moment, and I think you challenged them recently with their views. They either have to look to the EU or look to Russia, but I think their policies at the moment are, for those looking on, are destabilizing because they have not implemented the sanctions, they have not condemned, as you say, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. What is your view on the outlook for Serbian EU membership?
So we want to see Serbia as we are as other countries of the Western Balkans in the European Union, as I mentioned. So I think that the most of the Serbian population, citizens are pro-European, and it is now in the responsibility of the political leaders to follow these feelings or the pulse of the citizens, and to find, of course, to find the ways how to reform institutions and how to fulfill just they have an agenda, and they became a candidate country, and Croatia will, of course, will support it if they fulfill all the criteria that are necessary. But first of all, I mentioned that is full alignment. There are the foreign policy in full alignment with the European foreign and security policy. If you want to be member of the club, you have to follow and respect the rules of the principles of the club, like we did. So as I mentioned that we wanted to be a member of the European Union, for example, together with Slovenians. But however, we were imposed with benchmarks. First of all, rule of law, 23rd, 24th chapters. It was demanding, however, but so we work hard to fulfill it. And it's, as I mentioned, it's not a shortcut. So whether you want or you not want to be a member of EU, if you want to be a member of EU, it's clearly written, you have to fulfill something. You have to transform your society, to transform, to undertake reforms in the institutions and to prepare society for the EU. Otherwise, if we see the politically shortcut, then and there's nothing happened, no process, nothing. What we will have then the country with a burden on their shoulder, and then what we are going just to help the country to reform itself in the European Union. First of all, it's much easier to undertake reforms before they're entering the European Union, like Croatia did. And it's very, very simple. But of course, it asks, of course, the strength, of course, the engagement in this regard to fulfill all the criteria and benchmarks, and like they open some chapters. That means if they open some chapters, they can also open other chapters, yes. And later on to close chapters. Like the Montenegro, they open all the chapters. Now what remains now to close the chapters. But it must be visible. It must be visible. They know what is their homework to fulfill. And if you just do your homework, then it's good. Then you will be awarded. You will be awarded by the positive European European Commission review. And if the country is ready and or not, if the country is fulfilled the necessary criteria or not. So it's not only up to the countries, it's up to the European Commission, which is its institution, which is following the realizing all the necessary and achievements.
Thank you. Just a last question, because unfortunately we're running out of time and I won't get to all the questions. Former military officer, Brigadier General Ahern, who served in Croatia with the OSCE mission, he's wondering if former Yugoslav citizens displaced into non-EU neighboring countries during the military campaigns and who wish to return. Is that an impediment to moving ahead with with the EU membership? If citizens wish to return, is that causing any problem in the Balkan countries, the right of return of
I
citizens?
don't know what specifically, what is who was their military?
No, it was because he served in Croatia and was maybe conscious that
He
there
served
was
in
a lot of
Croatia.
displacement of peoples during the Balkan Wars.
Yeah.
Is that still an issue, or has that problem?
It is, of course, according to for example, according to the Dayton Paris Agreement, all the refugees should be returned, or should be enabled to come back to their homes. In the Serbian entity, so Republic of Srpska, so they live there 220,000 Croats, and now only 20,000, almost 20,000 came back. So that means either they don't feel that safe, or probably they are displaced, dispersed in United States, Europe, so on. Yes, unfortunately, we had the Croats there in Bosnia, in total, Bosnia and Herzegovina, 70.1%. Now the half of them.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So everyone should be enabled to come, but it's the choice whether they want or they not want. But first of all, they have to have this feeling that so they are welcome there, and they are safe, that nothing will happen negatively to them.
Minister, we have gone slightly past the time, and we have more questions. But may I thank you most sincerely for coming to us here today. I think we're very grateful for your presence, because you come from the far east of the European Union to the far west, and you give us the opportunity to get that very special view from the neighborhoods, close neighbors of the Balkan countries, which is very interesting to us here. I think you've given us a very good outline of the path you went to membership, and also your deep engagement with the Balkan countries. And I think it's very encouraging that a close neighbor like Croatia is so engaged in bringing forward membership of the Balkan countries, which of course is one of the certainly the geopolitical aim of the European Union. And we hope that that can proceed very quickly. But thank you very much for your presence here today. It's very much welcomed, and we wish you every success.
Thank you. Thank you.